So, doctor, to start with, I would kindly request you to introduce yourself and the work you do.
So my name is Dr. Sandeep Bhargava, and I am a practicing gastroenterologist and hepatologist. I work for a company in New Jersey, United States called Hunterdon Healthcare, HUNTERDON Healthcare. And I'm a gastroenterologist, hepatologist, and I'm trained in special procedures in my field. And I have over 20 years of experience. Um,
So, doctor, moving on to the next question. So, since you just mentioned you're based in US, so how's your journey been?
So to answer your question, I graduated medical school in 1992 from India in New Delhi, from the Delhi University, and then for further studies, I proceeded to the United States. I spent an additional 8 years in the US after medical school in India and high school, pursuing the track for becoming a gastroenterologist, liver disease specialist, and advanced procedures. And then I started to practice in the US. And from the year 2001 through the year 2011, for 10 years, I practiced here and then decided to go back home. And I successfully practiced in India from 2011 till 2017, after which I returned back to New Jersey here in the US and have since been working here. The journey's been great. I think I was able to work and train with some of the best people in the world. Thankfully, going back to India, I was able to give back to the country. And also, thankfully, I've been able to train a few people with some skills that I have been fortunate to have sort of developed and picked up. So the overall journey has been fantastic.
So, moving on to the next question. So, during this long journey, have you faced any kind of obstacles and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so I think the largest obstacle at this point in our industry or profession, you might say, is one, the length of training. And I think there is a distinct problem where, some people who want to go into it don't understand what it takes to go through all of it. And also, additionally, Rishabh, the people, the public, the government, and nobody else outside of medicine actually understands what it takes to reach where we reach. It's a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of night calls, and a lot of studying, and a lot of everything. And then the general issue has been that with years passing, financial bonuses have become very, very scarce. And one can argue that, oh, no, doctors are still doing very well. And yes, we're doing very well. But, commensurate to how much we are actually putting in, the output is relatively minimal at this point. And it is left for people who just want to do this as a profession and say, you know what, I love it. I don't care what I get paid, and I'm going to do the best I can. And that it's really now left to those kind of people. It's not left to people who are sort of thinking in other ways, which like saying, you know what, let me become a physician and I'm going to do well. If I do a good job, I'm going to, no, I think if you don't have that passion, don't do it, is my message.
So, moving on, so how do you see the medical sciences industry as a whole moving forward? So,
oh yeah, very important. So things are rapidly changing for us. So I think there are many avenues. So for a youngster who's trying to go to medical school now, I think they have to think very clearly, what is it that they actually want to get out of, becoming a physician. So there are many branches you can branch yourself out into: pharma, device, med tech nowadays, lots of avenues that are very, very exciting. New stuff is happening. And there's a lot of financial incentive to go into those tracks, biomedical research, biotechnology, things like that. I think where the challenges are in like straight patient care. Too many legal hassles, too many legal burdens, dropping reimbursement or financially, um, uh, salaries are sort of the reimbursement. So in the US, because all of it is insurance payments, those payments are going down, yet my ancillary staff wants more money every single year. So you can understand immediately where those challenges are coming from. In India, there are different challenges. In India, corporate greed has actually led to too many issues with healthcare there. And so the hospitals' eagerness in India to just pocket everything and not share it with anybody has caused a lot of trouble. But anyway, I mean, that set aside, it's still an very exciting profession. A lot of computer technologies are getting embedded into what we do. So AI is like big now. So they're putting millions and millions of, let's say, images of a particular organ into a computer, and I'm able to like generate an interpretation of a test based on millions of such tests that have been done across the world, and they're all compiled, and it's great. It's fantastic. So I really feel all these things that are sort of coming into our field are only going to improve patient care at the end of the day. Of course, challenges remain because these kind of technologies are very expensive and they're not going to be available right away for everybody, including in the US.
So, as you worked in India and the US, how would you compare the healthcare system of the two countries?
India and the US have, so there are some similarities and some major differences. Okay. So similarities are that there is a very robust private healthcare system in both the countries. So, you can approach a physician here or there, you can pay and you can seek healthcare. It's not like Canada or UK or some other nationalized healthcare systems where, you just have to wait for your turn. Here you go when you need to go or when you think you want to go. The government system in India is unique. There is no government system here. So there is no such walk-in facilities here where you just walk in and they'll treat you for free. So that's very unique to India. That's great. That helps so many poor people in India. However, you very well know what challenges we have in India, where the expensive healthcare is limited to few people. The free healthcare is limited by the actual need that we have versus what we have available. And so that's a problem, and that's not going to get fixed like right away. But I think in a certain way, that's now coming back to the US based medical system is highly dependent on insurances. And yes, seniors get government insurance, and the very poor people get government insurance, but they all come to the same healthcare system to seek healthcare. And so I think from that point of view, everything is good on paper, but in reality, there are so many problems here also. Like, based on insurances, they may pay X versus 3X, and the X insurance, the patients may not be able to get appointments right away. They may have to wait, things like that are happening. Okay. The other thing is the greatness of America is that if you're going to have a heart attack, this is the best country to have it. Your treatment is going to start as soon as the ambulance arrives, and 911 is a very robust system, very robust. So if you're going to have an accident, if you're going to have a heart attack, if you're going to need anything acutely, this is the place to be. No other country, no other system is as efficient as that. And especially when you're in the city limits and suburban also. Rural is an issue because if you're 40 minutes away from an ambulance, it's going to take you 40 minutes for the ambulance to arrive. Yeah. But once it arrives, you're going to get care right away.
Got it. So next, I would like to ask you to give some advice to youngsters who are planning to pursue medical in the future.
Okay. So there are two or three messages, I think. One, pursue medicine if you really want to be part of the medical fraternity and if you really want to be a physician, and you're going to you're going to pursue your dreams and not really count what you're going to be making. Okay. Because once you reach my stage, or once you reach a stage where you finish training and you start working, that feeling to come to you very quickly, that, you know what, I just spent all these years of my life and I'm really not getting what my other colleagues are getting in other professions, because that is what is absolutely going to happen. So be ready for that if you really want to pursue this. Outside of the financial constraints, it's a fantastic profession to be in. You'll find anywhere in the world, and that, people will be very grateful for what you've done. There's a lot of job satisfaction, because when you start helping people and they get better and they come to you and say, look, I'm better, I only know that feeling. I feel fantastic too. So there's that aspect of my profession that doesn't exist in other professions. Um, it's a very robust profession, because your experiences differ every day. So you're not just sitting on a computer all day and making programs, or selling stuff, or if you're in sales or marketing or just regular business. No, my experiences are different every half an hour, and that's what keeps us going. I mean, I'm interested every day. I don't even know what I'm walking into every day. So those can be called challenges or experiences, but then there are also the things that keep me going. Otherwise, people just get disinterested, but we don't. We keep going. So I think that's the message that the youngsters need to get, that, it's very, there are financial, you'll be comfortable. You'll not get rich. You'll be comfortable. You'll be fine. It's a great profession to be in, very fulfilling for those who actually want to do this. And for, people see you in a very different light. I mean, there is still a bit of respect for the community. So if you're looking for that, then by all means, one should go for it.
So, doctor, that would be it from my side. Is there anything you would like to add that I may have missed?
No, I think this is a fantastic project, Rishabh, and go for it. Once you write up a summary or something, share it with me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Wonderful.